We
Good
got it.
evening, everybody. How are we doing? How are you doing, bro? What you been up to?
I'm good. I had an off-plan meal. Right, this is heartbreaking. So I'm trying to be a good lactose boy. Um, I went for a few drinks with the missus, and we went to a pizza place. And I was like, mate, I need my protein. I'm a small boy. I'm trying to get big. I'm an online coach. Follow me on Instagram. You know, all the usual stuff that you say to everyone you meet. And I was like, give me a meat feast pizza, a medium. That's 10 inches. Okay, very reasonable. Can I get it without cheese? The bloke puts cheese on it, but right, I had a secret weapon. I got some lactase enzyme tablets.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Mate, I had a couple of them. Granted, as well, I did. So I took two for the pizza, and then I went and I was like, right, I'm already in the dairy hole. Okay. So I had a Bailey's hot chocolate as well, which was, it's that time of year, it's pain. So I took another tablet.
Rip.
This morning, I'm feeling like I feel all right, like digestion wise. I'm not farting. My stomach is staying quiet. It doesn't go like every 3 seconds, but I'm drenched in water. And like the scale jumped up like 3 pounds, which if I have like a normal off-plan meal, yeah, that's the like because I have two off-plan meals a week. Last one I had was just like sausage rolls and like it was mainly vegan sausage rolls and then like a little steak bake, like shit that digests well. So I barely gained off it. I gained like a pound, but I probably had a fair few calories. I probably had less in the pizza, but still, like I'm not feeling the effects of it, but it's like reflected on the scale, if you know what I mean, and in my physique.
Yeah, I get what you know that something's going on.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Can't you only have them like so often or something like that? Because over time they don't start to work as well.
Yeah, I imagine. I'm trying to avoid it in general because like I just wake up the next day and it's not nice when you're like covered in water and like I look at my midsections are worse for it. I look at my midsection, I'm just like, yeah, there's no abs today. We'll have to wait a couple of days for them to return. And like, yeah, it's not fun.
It's always so interesting because I've got a friend who's lactose intolerant, and like obviously because you know you can't have something, you just want it more. Like we were in Tesco's the other day, and she was just like, "Can we get this?" And we all looked at her and we're like, "Bro, like why? You're literally the only one of us who isn't allowed to have like I think she wanted cheese, but she was the one that was like suggesting it." But yeah, it's really interesting because it's like the second you tell yourself you can't have something in a diet, what do you start to crave more? Like that's what you want.
It's worse as well because being into fitness, bodybuilding, whatever, like I normally follow my meal plan and I got my meal swaps. So like my kind of time to be a person and like really relax is off plan meals. And so that's when I've got that freedom of like within reason, I can have whatever food I want. Like I can go get a pizza or a sub or a fucking nachos or whatever. This next meal is entirely mine. That's when it's hard to like avoid dairy. And like in a situation like that where I've deliberately said, can I get a pizza with no cheese? And they've cocked up my order. It's like I don't really want to be.
Did they give you a refund?
I mean, it's like it was the boss man literally outside of a club at like 2 a.m. And there's people waiting in the queue, and I'm like, I'm not going to be that guy. I can just not have abs for 2 days. It will be fine. But yeah, like
fair.
It's just hard because it's like even when you've got that off plan in the back of my head, I'm like, there's still foods I can't have. You know, that's when it's like hard. Like I don't have an issue with like ordering a small pizza and just stopping there. It's the fact that like I shouldn't get a pizza at all or a pizza with cheese. But first world problem.
Pizza is not the same without cheese though, and that vegan cheese is fucking shit. I've tried coconut cheese or something like that. Is it from coconut? And that's actually all right.
Oh yeah.
But all the other ones that I've tried are fucking shit. Why is it that you have 2 off plans a week anyway?
So this is like kind of a little approach I've been doing. So obviously in the past, coming back from this diet, I had a little binge. And it was mentally tough for me, man, because like scale went way up. And obviously I've just been very, very lean, like probably one of the leanest points I've ever been. And you spent, 4 weeks of, it was a graft of a mini cut. It was not pleasant. And then in like one day of like weakness or whatever you want to call it, one day of me just going a bit off the walls, I've kind of like undone a lot of that work. And so it's tough to kind of now continue to push up when I know in the back of my head, I'm like, God, I don't know how many pounds up. I'm probably like 5 pounds ahead of where I should be. And that puts me closer to the next mini cut. So that's been hard for me mentally. But my food focus is still incredibly high. So what we're doing is more frequent off-plan meals. So like I know, okay, the food's not going anywhere. You know, if I see something, if I go to a takeout, it's easier for me to just go, okay, just for today, I'll have a pizza, because in 3 or 4 days' time, I could be right back here. And like it's easier to not go ludicrous and like off the fucking chart, because it removes that mentality of like, this is my one chance per week to make this count. So overall, like my daily food's been lower, but I've just been being a bit more flexible with it. Same with like swapping. If I like, I'll swap a meal, and if it's like 100, 200 over under, I'm not really that fussed anymore, because I'm at uni and I'll be in prep in like a couple of years time. And when I'm, to be honest, I'll probably be pretty fucking accurate when I'm not at uni. It's just when I'm at uni surrounded by food, I want to kind of like have a bit more flexibility, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and especially when you're in a massive phase as well, like it's so easy to be flexible.
Yeah.
Once you sort of work out how to do it, because like you can fit virtually fucking anything in. Like I remember over the summer, there were multiple times where I just go and get spoons breakfast with my friends, because my breakfast was like 800 calories anyway.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
easy.
exactly.
Like it's
Yeah,
just it's just so easy to be flexible, and it's a really good opportunity to do so.
yeah, man. I've definitely been having 2 a week has been so much calmer. Like the past few weeks, most of the time I've accidentally undershot my calories with the off plan. Like I'll wake up and body weight will be pretty much in line with average, or pretty much like under, maybe a smidge over. And it's the same for like, if I eat all my food for the day and then I'm going on a walk and my brain is like, you really want a chocolate bar. Sometimes I'll be like, you know what, or like probably not a chocolate bar because of the lactose. But something like that, although sometimes it is a chocolate bar. Like in that mindset, I would rather allow myself 250 calories over than like binging in a couple of days' time. Like that's kind of the mindset that I have a little bit more now, where like it's kind of like the lesser of two evils. I'm kind of like easier on myself. So like sometimes I'll get to my cream of rice meal, which I adore, and I'll be like, I want more of this today than is on the plan. So I might chuck slightly more on, and I'll be like, you know what, I'd rather that than going and ordering fucking way too much food, you know?
Yeah, I completely get what you mean. Just going back to the chocolate bar for a second, top 3 celebrations. What are they?
But wait, what? Say that again.
Top 3 celebrations, like the boxes of chocolates with all the different ones in.
Malteser. And then the what the fuck is it called?
Milky Way.
Nah, bro, get out of here. Although it is good, I'm a chocolate man, so they're all good. I love Bounty as well.
I'm leaving the meeting right now. That's atrocious.
Oh fuck, there's two types: the Galaxy Caramel and then the Galaxy Chocolate. Those are my top 3.
What about the Mars, bro?
Mars?
Yeah.
I'll allow Mars. Mate, I love them all. You're like asking me to pick my favorite kids. I can't do it.
You have kids?
No. Well, I do when I consider chocolate to be my child. I don't know, man.
Doesn't make any sense, bro. That does not make any sense. But yeah, like back to the hunger thing. I'm at a point now where I am actually hungry and want to eat aside from today. I really don't want to eat today. But yeah, like I'm excited for my meals, and I'm literally finishing them in like 5-10 minutes now, which I'm like, this is fucking banging. This is so good, because I just didn't want to eat for so long. And this is sort of the point where we finished the last mini cut, if that makes sense. Like, oh, hunger's back, let's go. But I literally lasted like 4 months after that, and really I want to be able to gain for a bit longer than that. So basically I just want to get ravenous.
Yeah.
But I'm going away literally, like basically we're finishing it when I go away, if that makes sense. So we're going to see how a week of probably one off plan meal a day goes. I'm literally going to Portugal to stay, well, to meet my girlfriend's family, which I'm very excited, but also very nervous for. So yeah, we'll have like one meal a day with those, but should be sound to to track all the other stuff.
Yeah, man. You could always do the fucking Lukey boy. What's his name? I've literally forgotten his name. I can't remember anyone's name now. It's like lactose in my brain. What's his face? Luke from the Whamcast, bro. Who
Luke
works for
Harper.
Luke Harper. You can always do
Yeah.
what Luke Harper did and just do like a almost rapid fat loss for a week of just like pulling calories down just to bring like appetite back.
Yeah, well, we literally dropped by. I literally said to Matt, like, don't fuck around, like, take loads of my food, and
Yeah.
he pulled it down by like 1,300 calories, and everyone was like, bloody hell, that's a lot. I'm like, I don't care, I'm still not hungry. So like, we literally have to go sub 2,000, I think, for me to get hunger back in any sort of proper way. Like, it was literally 5 weeks, and I'd lost 5 kilos by the time I was actually hungry, which is fucking easiest fat loss ever.
Mate, calm. That's
Yeah.
calm. Mate. Just fucking just like ride it out. How's progression in the gym been?
Banging, mate. Absolutely banging.
Calm.
To be honest, yeah, like added in RDLs, they're progressing really, really well. Like, I basically started off at 100. Second week, I did 102.5, added 2 reps as well. So it's like that magic progression the first couple of weeks on the movement. But yeah, they're still going really, really well. So 2 more weeks on the training block, which are going to be excruciating. But I am going back home the end of this week. So basically last week is going to be on all new equipment. So it reduces that sort of mental pressure a little bit more, because I am feeling sort of the anxiety. Fuck, am I going to be able to beat last week? Because it's basically been to failure for like the last 3 weeks. Really not fun. It's something I'm not used to.
Are you escalating volume still, even though intensity?
No. Just holding, basically. Just holding, to be honest, and seeing how that all goes. I'm not quite sure when I'm going to train when I go home, because I've basically got like a week and a half before I go to Portugal, and then obviously like Christmas period. I will be able to train in Portugal though. They've got some decent kit there, so that'll be all right. Leg training may be a bit sketchy from what I've seen, but they've got like some Cybex stuff for upper, so that should be sound. But yeah, I'm not sure whether to go to the gym that I normally go to or go to the coach and just fork out like 50 quid to use the gym for like 3 weeks, if that. Probably less than that, actually. We'll see. It might be good.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know.
I think it really, really good, because sort of last time I was at that gym, like the environment just wasn't there. If you get what I mean, I was just like not excited to train.
The your usual gym, not the coach.
Yeah. The coach is sick. The coach is sick.
Yeah, mate. Atmosphere. That's so big. Like a gym with dead atmosphere. I don't want to fucking be there. Not fun.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I sort of see. The only thing is, it's like £10 for a day pass, and Miriam's definitely going to train with me more than like a couple of times, so she might as well just like we'll just have to get a membership, if that makes sense. Like, I'll just pay for it, or whatever, because otherwise it's going to be so fucking hefty. But that's a problem. We'll decide. I'll see what I'll probably will just end up going there.
Yeah, sounds like you are, man.
I'm probably just going to go there. I'll just get 2 memberships. It'll be sound. It will be sound, right? So the reason that I was actually like 2 minutes late today, I actually think that's quite early for me, to be honest. I'm normally really late to everything. But I was watching a video about the Liver King. Have we seen what's going on with the Liver King, bro?
I have. Did you watch the More Plates, More Dates?
Yeah, I watched the documentary that he put out. Yes.
What Mr. Derek Man, where he talks about how he asking for bodybuilding coaching, revealing his cycle, whatever you want to call it, his current PED use, and then being after doing that, he then starts claiming natty. I'm baffled by the bloke.
I don't get why like so many people are so surprised though. Like, obviously, honestly, we know bodybuilding. We look at him and go, "Yeah, dude is fucking sourced." Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how like that many people can be deceived. I just think he's fucking stupid in the first place. But anyway, he's got some good stuff, to be fair, in terms of like most people do have fucking shit sleep. But I also don't think that people should be like sleeping on wooden floors and shit. I think that's a bit weird.
Yeah. Like the thing that kind of bothers me the most is I can't remember who was talking. I think it was Nick Strength and Power, said this. He
Yes, I
said,
do remember.
like, the Liver King, because he's become such a public figure, and the public perception outside of the fitness industry is that everyone's
Mate,
using.
people think The Rock is natural. It's ridiculous.
But like,
I'm like, what?
yeah, no, honestly, it's like, well, the thing is, like, if anyone is an actor and their career is to be in shape, they're probably using sports performance enhancers. That doesn't take away from how impressive The Rock is. I don't think people realize, but he's still using, like, you can't say he's natty. But someone like the Liver King being outed as a straight up liar and lying about being natural, not just keeping it quiet or, making a joke or whatever, but outright claiming natural, and then being fully called out as you are using multiple different drugs. Like, from the outside in, that makes the whole fitness industry just look shit.
Mate, there's always stuff like this that happens though.
I know.
There's always something going about that's like, fucking hell. Like, this is a stain on the industry. But yeah, I never even thought he was natural, to be honest, because like man looks like a fucking house. Like, obviously he's not natty.
Yeah, literally, like, look at his fucking abdominals alone. Like, you think you can attain that level of abdominal development naturally? No, no fucking chance.
So funny, so funny. Right, another big question we got as well was from Danny Pepper, and he was asking us about time management, organization around personal work and uni life.
Okay.
So we can kick this one off with some interesting shit.
Sure. So is he asking, like, how do you manage business?
How do you do it? Yeah, essentially. So I think we can go through like what we personally do, and then how like other people can apply that, I suppose.
Okay.
Do you want to go?
So for me, just it's a boring answer and it's not a fun answer. Not everyone wants to do it, but just using a calendar app or a to-do list app.
Right, granddad.
Like, every Sunday, I'll go through, I'll look at what lectures do I have, when, what deadlines have I got coming up. Okay, I've got an essay due here. How can I split that up? And then you end up just kind of with a little timetable. And it really is as simple as, here's when my lectures are. Here's when a good time to train would be. Let's fit meals around that, or, fit meals around and then training based on that. And then as well, like, splitting up workload. I've got check-ins here, program changes I'll do this day, stuff like that. The main thing that people fuck up or that puts them off of scheduling or wanting to do a to-do list or shit is because they think that you have to, like, fill all your time. And the one thing that's missing from most people's calendars is free time. Just pencil in, like, I will finish work at 8 p.m. and I will go to bed at like 11 or midnight or 10, whatever. Those hours are now mine, something like that. Like, give yourself free time. I always say to people, like, if I've got a busy client and they're putting together a little calendar, they'll just fill it with work. And I'm like, no, fucking give yourself some free time. I'll go and play on my fucking PlayStation for 2 hours here, and I'll watch TV here and shit like that.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's something I did in the past, is like literally every single second would be filled. And then if something takes a bit longer than expected, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Whereas like, if something takes a bit longer than expected, you still got a spare like bit throughout the day where you can do stuff. So yeah, like as you said, the way that I always sort of do it is put in the shit that I have to be there at that time to do then, which for me is basically uni, and then like client check-in days, which were originally like scheduled around when I have uni, if that makes sense. And then from there, I train at a couple of different times, but mostly it's like late afternoon, after 3 meals, which is like usually sort of my favorite, aside from the weekend when the gym closes a bit earlier, and aside from Monday where I'm fucking mega busy and don't finish until like 6, and that's when I can go and train. So you are going to have to make some adjustments along the way. But yeah, I think that's a really, really good point that you highlighted of don't fill it with everything.
Yeah.
Because then you are still going to have some time to do some extra stuff. And then sort of going on from that, like productivity wise, I think Pomodoros are really, really useful.
Yeah.
And the time passes so much faster as well. Like I had, I think 20 plus articles to read the other day for a research assignment. and I tried to literally just do it like where I had a 3 hour block, and I got like an hour in. I'm like, okay, cool. I've done fucking none of this. So this is going really, really well. So then I started doing Pomodoros, and I was doing like 3 in a 25-minute block, because instead of going, I have to work for the next 3 hours straight, and if I don't work for 3 hours straight, I'm a fucking failure. I have to work for 25 minutes. That's not too bad. That's fairly doable. And then you get your 5 minutes to fuck around, go on Instagram, whatever the fuck you want. And then you can get back to it. And then another thing I've done is I've got I don't think anything's going to fly out, but I've got my whiteboard here. And I basically have, that was the wrong way around, but yeah, you get what I mean. But yeah, I essentially have 3 things which I like have to do that day, and anything else is a bonus. So tomorrow it will be check-ins. It will be I got 3 hours of lectures. Well, 2 seminars of lecture, but 3 hours of uni. And then I normally do the like asynchronous stuff for like 2 modules, for example. So those are my big 3 things. Obviously, training goes on there as well, but I'm at the point where training isn't really something training is like bare fucking bottom, if that makes sense. Like, that's unless I'm literally physically unable to get to a fucking gym, which isn't very likely. It happens. I don't need to write it down on my to-do list. Whereas like if you're just starting to get into your fitness journey and that sort of thing, like training is something which you may have to make a little bit more of a conscious effort to go and do. Like even when I'm not really fucking motivated, like I'll still go to the gym, because there was like months where I wasn't like, that interested, if that makes sense. But training is something I do. It's something I'm committed to do. So I will still go and do it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think that was the main sort of stuff. So I would say the biggest thing you can do is actually get a calendar. You're not like fixing yourself into doing things at different times. There might be different weeks where stuff is different. But it actually gives you freedom in the sense of, as long as you don't fill it, like Jack was saying, then you have 3 hours here where you can go do whatever the fuck you want, because you've done everything else that you need to do. And you actually do have free time. I might be a little bit of a controversial opinion, but I don't think the average uni student is that busy. I think their time management skills are extremely poor. And that's why you're doing all-nighters to get your assignments handed in. Because like I started a business, worked a full-time job, and did my degree last year. So I think time management and getting on top of your shit is key. Oh, and like bodybuilding as well.
But it's because if you think, I was saying this to a client, like if you think about where you go from school, you're used to everything being done for you. You go to school, you are in school, you are forced into a lesson. Like you don't have to wake up and go to a lecture, and then you got an hour gap, 2 hour gap, and then you have to go again. Like full day, full lessons. You're locked in. That is it. You've got homework due. You're going in every single day. Everyone's on your ass about everything. Whereas at uni, people will be on your ass about assignments, but at the end of the day, you can just not do them, and you probably won't get told off in the traditional sense. They'll just be like, why are you doing this? And you don't have to attend lectures. And again, if you like, there are some systems where if your attendance goes low enough, then they'll call you out and shit. But at uni, it's a lot more self-driven. And in school, it's so externally driven that people aren't used to it, that it's as soon as like, because unis are very hands-off. And so as soon as they take their hands off the student just goes, I guess I'm going to go drinking then. and like,
you mean I don't have to be doing something right now? I'm just going to go and get fucked up.
And it's like if you if you do a little bit of uni work every single day, then that's calm. Like, I was looking at on my like list of like my uni shows everything that I need to do like across the weeks. I was looking ahead to January, and I was like, right, if I do an hour of uni work every single day across Christmas holidays, which is fucking fine. An hour of uni work is nothing. Like I wake up, bosh out an hour, we're done, get on with my day. If I do that, I can get a week ahead, and I'm already a week ahead by doing that. I've done that previously at the start of my course. I started a week early. So I come Christmas can be 2 weeks ahead.
So is the content already out?
Yeah.
And you can just, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I can go ahead and see it. So like I can get 2 weeks ahead, which means theoretically I could do nothing for 2 weeks. I'm not going to do that. But if there's days where because I do a little bit of uni work every single day, if there's a day where something's going on in my personal life or I'm super, super busy, I can just not do uni work because I'm ahead. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me. Like today, I was going to do a bunch of uni work. But instead, I was like, you know what? I haven't actually seen my girlfriend Chloe that much this week, and she's in today, so I'll make sure that I go and see her. So I got my coaching done for the day because that's a go-to. I'm getting paid to do that. That always happens. It's a rest day for me. Meals always go in, but other than the always, like the uni, because I'm ahead of the schedule. I was like, yeah, fine. I just don't need to do it today, so I'll do it tomorrow. It's fine.
Yeah, that's a really, really good thing that we forgot to mention sort of initially, is it can become a very, very slippery slope when you get behind. Because when you're 1 week behind, you're like, oh fuck, I need to like scramble and go and do this. And then inevitably somebody wants to go out at the weekend, and then you get a little bit more behind. And then you're in week 5 and you're still trying to do week 2 content.
Yeah. It's a binge restrict.
Like, it's a fucking nightmare from there. I literally started doing this. I think it was actually last January. It was one of the things I was listening to Perrin and Tom on the Whamcast, and they were talking about like the things they want to change next year. And something that Perrin said was basically get all the uni work for that week done in that week, so you don't end up behind.
Yeah.
Because that's a really, really big problem. Then is when you end up, you're sort of struggling to get everything done. So I think that's another really, really good thing.
Yeah, like if you don't do it and then do an entire day's worth of work, like staying up all night, you're gonna do it, burn out, and then not do it. It's like it's literally a binge restrict cycle of uni.
The binge restrict cycle of uni work.
Yeah.
Like, please, can we make that the episode title?
Yeah, easy.
Please.
What people don't realize is if you're a student, your time is in your hands. So just do a couple of hours every single day. Like currently for uni work, I do an hour and a half every day. I barely feel like a student because I'm a week ahead. Because guess what? Before uni started, I did an hour and a half every day. And I've managed to keep up this pace of getting everything done for the week. And that week is technically next week. And I'm just going to keep doing it over Christmas because I'm not burnt out from work. I don't feel like I need a break because I've only been doing 90 minutes. So I'm just going to keep doing like 60 minutes, 90 minutes, however much I need to stay ahead.
I get what you mean. That makes a lot of sense. Something my friend was saying the other day is sort of realize what you do actually need to put your time into, in the sense of I never do any of the readings because I hate reading. It takes me a really long time, and 9 times out of 10 they go over it in the lecture anyway. So I'm not gonna spend an extra hour on every single module per week reading stuff that they're probably going to tell me anyway. And if it happens that I'm really interested in it, then I'll go and do it. Same sort of thing with your assignments. Like if you can pick your assignments on early module stuff, then there are lectures there that you don't necessarily need to do.
Yeah.
Because you've got all the stuff you need from the previous ones. Like obviously you still go to them if you can, but like something comes up, you know that, oh, okay, maybe I can miss this lecture if I really have to.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what I've done with like this weekend as well. I suppose that leads us on to another topic, is that over the last sort of 2-3 weeks, I filmed 3 videos to post on Instagram, whereas I only post 2 per week. So I'm a little bit ahead in terms of last week, I already had all this stuff done for next week. And then over the Christmas period as well, when I'm going to have a bit more time on my hands, aside from doing assignments, which again, realistically, an hour per day is going to be easy on that, as you were saying there. Aside from doing assignments, I'm going to have a lot more free time. So what I'm going to make a load of videos that I can then use when I'm back at uni, when I'm busier, and not be so stressed about everything.
Yeah, I've got a few posts in my back pocket that I always keep there. Just simple stuff that you can keep up if you're busy, because I like to post as close to daily as I can.
I do 6 times a week just because it fits nicely on the grid.
Yeah, fair. Like if there's a day where I genuinely don't feel like I have any good content or anything good to share, then I'm not gonna. I'd rather bring higher quality content. But yeah, like it's exactly like that. You know, just getting ahead, and then not using getting ahead to like fall behind. It's easy when you've got like a week's worth of content to be like, oh, I don't have to film any content this week. But if you keep on top of it, and like
Yeah.
with older stuff, if you like, because some of my older stuff I can't use because I've got like different colored hair now. So like when I had that, I would kind
Yeah,
of
it's still posted. It's fine.
yeah, I guess so. Like I'd if I filmed something new, I'd put that into my little folder and then take the oldest one and post that. So it's like there's not a huge disparity of like these are now 2 year old.
Yeah, yeah, like first in, first out kind of thing. I
Yeah,
get what you
yeah,
mean.
literally.
No, but if you post one of the old the old videos of when you got your like your Corella Deville hair, imagine the engagement you're gonna get of people saying, "Oh my god, did you dye your hair back again?"
True, true. To be fair,
Bro, you know you want to do it. You know you
I'll
want to
just
do it.
re-upload all my posts. I really want to
Yeah.
bleach it. Fucking, my hair's still two colors, by the way. In the right lighting, it's not going to show on a fucking Zoom call, but in the right lighting, it is like one side's darker, one side's lighter. They're both brown, but like, yeah, it's not going to show. I'll try and get a picture.
Incredible stuff there, bro. Well done.
Yeah,
well done.
Useful insight.
But yeah, I think that those were the sort of the main questions I've got. I've got other stuff that we can go over in future weeks. But another thing which I just thought you'd find funny is, you know how I always bang on about saying, like, when you're going to go out, make sure you take some electrolytes before.
Yeah.
I was walking around like this. This was during pre-drinks yesterday. And I was saying to my friends, like, oh, do you want some electrolytes? It's going to stop you feeling like shit tomorrow. And one of them puts them in the mouth and go, wow, these are really salty. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, it's almost like they got sodium in. That's really weird, that. Yeah, they lots of alcohol was consumed. I actually woke up lighter today, though. It was really weird. So I'm sure I'm going to be much heavier tomorrow after like actually rehydrating.
Yeah, fair man. That's the thing though, is like I get a lot of clients saying this, and like people were like, and I'm guilty of it too, but it's easy trap to fall into, of kind of letting your daily weigh-ins influence how you feel about the week, or kind of influence, like, you know, it's really easy to eyeball an average, and you're probably completely wrong, but you know, daily weigh-ins, like I say to clients straight up, daily weigh-ins are fucking pointless. They are worthless. They are trash. Throw them away. On a micro scale, a daily weigh-in is worthless to you. What matters? A week average is the minimum of what matters. What truly matters? Months. Averages across months, potentially years if you want to go bonkers. But like realistically, as human beings, our weight fluctuates so much, and so much influences it. And especially if you're not being an absolute robot to the minute, same salt, water, food, sleep patterns, urination patterns, bowel movements. If you fucking, like, if you jumped on a scale and then had a wank and then jumped on a scale, guess what? You'd be lighter. Like, people don't think about that. Like, why are you lighter? You could have literally come more. Like, shit, like stupid shit like that influences it. There's so much that goes into it. So daily weigh-ins are completely worthless on their own. Please pay no notice to them. I weigh in, I write it down, I go on with my day. Number doesn't even register. It just is what it is, you know?
Yeah, I completely see what you mean there. I was listening to Holly Davidge's podcast the other day, and she was saying that she has the scales which are like linked to a phone, to an app on your phone. So it doesn't actually show up on the screen of the scale. It just goes to her phone. So she only sees it once per week and just gets the average.
I actually need that. That would be really helpful for me personally.
Yeah, because you only get that stress sort of once per week, but it's not really stress because you can see how everything's like going on, especially if you're like a little bit worried about your scale weight. Seeing those sort of fluctuations of what happens after I've had an off-plan meal, what happens after I've gone out drinking, or even if you just wake up at a different time, how that affects things, that can sort of stress you out a little bit. Whereas I'm literally just curious. I just want to see what happens. So I'm like, cool, sound. That's really weird. Move on with your day. But yeah, it can be difficult not to get caught up in that at first.
Yeah, I've never been stressed about it. The main thing for me was kind of, again, still because of that binge. I forever since then, I know I am fatter than I would be in another timeline where I did not do that binge, but I did the binge, so it doesn't matter. It's pointless. It's a pointless exercise, but still, it's like I'm up £14 in 10 weeks, which across averaging 1.4 pounds a week, that's actually kind of okay. Like that is a rate of gain that we were like vaguely shooting for, a little bit more aggressive. And if I did that, if I gained 1.4 pounds every single week for 10 weeks, I'd probably feel fine. But it's the fact that it was slow and then a lot and then slow, that now it's like, it's hard to not feel like I've just got this unearned body fat on me. So whenever I have an off-plan meal, it is a little bit stressful for me to see that reflected in the scale. But I'm getting better at it. But yeah, I think like definitely for me, I could use a scale that just goes straight to my phone.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really cool idea, to be honest, because then you don't get to worry about it.
I wish I could do that for clients. I could just like see their numbers without them seeing it. I wish they didn't have to tell me. Like I could like in an ideal
Yeah,
world,
I get what you mean.
I just like to know their body weight and steps, and then just be like, right, food is up or down. There you go. Like, you know, here are your macros. Here is your meal plan. Is there anything there you don't like? There we go.
Yeah. Another thing is as well, like I've definitely been guilty in the past of literally chasing scale weight and like going at a pace which is too fast. And you see a lot of people get to the point where they're literally no longer like sensitive to food.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, I'm eating all this food and I'm still not gaining weight. I'm like, oh, cool, nice.
Yeah, they're like I've fallen in for it myself, and I've seen it like with I saw it with a client early on in our little coaching client relationship. He was dieting, had an off-plan meal, for whatever reason scale went down, so we went and had another one, and then 2 days later it was way up. And it's like, it's hard not to fall into that trap of, oh, I'm lighter, okay, I'll do that again then, that doesn't count.
Stoke the metabolism, bro.
Yeah, bro,
that's what happened. 5 guys stoking the metabolism.
Stoke the metabolism. Well, yeah, like,
yeah, that is that's one thing that pisses me off actually.
I hate people using the phrase metabolism in general, because I don't think it plays as big of a role. Like, people would love to be like, I have a high metabolism, I have a low metabolism. I'm like, you probably on average you have an average metabolism. It's more so the fact that you're not paying attention to your movement and your eating. Like, your metabolism is fine, it's pretty similar to most people's. There's not a huge difference. Like, people will be massively underweight compared to their friend and be like, God, I must burn like 2,000 calories more than this guy. And I'm like, no, you probably just eat like 2,000 calories less than that guy. Like, you know, I just hate people using the phrase metabolism in general, because I'm like, realistically, you've got no clue. Like, you're just going off of how fat or skinny you are compared to everyone else, like your perception of your body compared to theirs. You're like, well, I'm fat, so I must be having a slower metabolism than them because they're skinnier than me. You know?
Yeah, it's like I remember at school, like people, like at school, there were loads of people who would literally eat whatever the fuck they want and they'd still be in reasonable good shape. But then you think about, okay, what do you do when you're at school? Well, most people like walk to the bus stop at the very, very least. Then they're walking around school all day. What are they doing at lunch? They're playing football. So they're doing fucking 10K plus steps, like just throughout the day at school. And then they're probably going to hang out with their mates. So they're doing a shitload of expenditure. No wonder they can eat a load of food. And then you combine that with the fact that they're then going through puberty and your whole fucking body is changing. Like some serious shit's going on. Yeah, I love that. On average, you have an average metabolism.
Mate, I use that phrase all the time. On average, you have average X. Like, people be like, how good are my bodybuilding genetics? I'm like, on average, they're probably average. Like, that's why it's an average. You're probably somewhere in there. Like, you know, I'm sorry to say it, but statistically, the chances are you're pretty close to the average. But yeah, like, the thing is, like, with people, they eat whatever they want and they never gain weight. I've taken on clients like that, and I'll be like, right, you know, let's see my fitness pal, let's track it. Oh my God, you know, 4,000 calories in McDonald's on their first day. And then the next day they're like, well, I wasn't hungry. And then also I had a football match. And then I actually haven't eaten in like 2 days. And it's like, yeah. Or people will wake up and order a Domino's and then be like, I didn't eat for the rest of the day, or vice versa. You know, it's like, if you look at their weekly calories and their weekly expenditure, you're like, wow, you are not eating a lot on a weekly scale and you are moving a shit ton. And like you'll see people eat
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
they want for a day, but then they don't want to eat. And it's like, yeah, no wonder, it's that consistency of the eating. Like I've got clients who eat more than me in any one day, but in a week I'm eating more, you know, like
Oh, yeah. I get what you mean. That makes sense
yeah.
now. I have to think about that. But it's been
Like
been
before
long.
onboarding them, I'll have like someone eat like 4,000 and 1,000 and 4,000 and 1,000, whereas I'm routinely eating like 3,000, and they're like, oh, how are you only eating 3,000 calories? I eat like 4,000. I'm like, well, whenever you track it, you are, but you've got days where you're not eating, which is what's doing it. Anyway, enough of me fucking waffling on about the same topic. Someone DM me this question, and I think it's a great question, and it's a newbie friendly question. And a lot of people are going to ask it. So basically saying, is creatine worth it? And then they said something that really piqued my interest. That's remind me of another question, but I'll do this one first. Is creatine worth it? Would it benefit me, my training and physique growth, or just in general? And then they said everyone always has different opinions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the opinion on creatine is a what's the right word? I was going to say consensual, but that's not the right word, is it?
Uh, I know what you're trying to say.
Most people agree. Most people agree.
There's one opinion, and it is correct. There is science. There's not any wiggle room here with creatine. It's pretty cut and dry.
But yeah, creatine is very, very well researched. It's probably the most powerful natural supplement we have, which isn't very powerful.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
if it wasn't natural, if it was powerful, it wouldn't be natural. It's literally going to give you like an extra rep on a 10 rep set or something like that, which over time, yeah, that's going to fucking add up. But are you going to take creatine and be like, oh fuck, I'm huge now? No. Like you're just not, are you? You might notice a little bit of scale weight come on as you start to retain a little bit more fluid. It's not bad. It's going to make you look better because you're retaining that within the muscle. So nothing to stress about in the first sort of couple of weeks when you add it in. And another thing is you don't need to like cycle it or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm about.
Creatine's very simple. 5 grams a day for most people. That seems to be what's agreed on. And then like there are undeniable benefits biologically. If you are taking it, you are benefiting from it. I can almost guarantee you won't notice it. Imagine that you're trying to walk to the gym. That's your goal. And instead of walking 100 steps to the gym, you walk 101 steps. That is creatine. Instead of driving to the gym at 50 miles an hour, you drive at 51. You will not notice it, but there is an undeniable benefit. It costs money. Yes, it's cheap. If you care enough to pay, then do it. If you don't, then don't. I can guarantee you won't notice a difference. But if you care about that unseen benefit, then go for it.
Yeah, I agree. That reminded me of another question I got asked today, actually. But essentially along the lines of what are the foods I should be eating for X goal? There aren't specific foods you need to be eating. What you need to do is fit that into your overall requirements. It's not like you have to eat oats when you're dieting and you have to eat cream of rice when you're fucking bulking or anything like that. You want to make sure that you're getting the minimum amount of protein you need, the minimum amount of fats you need, and then as much carbohydrate as you can have realistically, as well as making sure that you're getting plenty of micronutrients, quality foods, and you're going to be sound. And what changes is the amount of that you have. Because if you've got more calories available, you're going to need to eat more food. But it's not like you have to eat fucking blueberries because they're a superfood and they are going to revolutionize your lifestyle. I don't really like blueberries, so I don't have them that much. It's fine. I prefer raspberries. Eat raspberries. Moral of the story.
You've summed up the best way to get started with writing some kind of nutrition plan. Start with protein and fats. My God, start with protein and fats. Do not ignore your fats. Fats are not a number that you want to get as low as possible. For the love of God, can we kill this? I want to start a petition to change the name of that macro because it's got a shit name. It should not be called fats. Let's call it like a macro lipid or something, or like, I don't know, something. The other one, the third one, you've got protein, carbs, and it's literally going to be called the third one, the third macro. Yeah, like if you're writing some kind of nutrition plan, or if you're trying to hit nutrition, hit your fats, hit your protein, get in a variety of colors, shapes, sizes, textures of veg, because veg contains micronutrients. Most of those micronutrients will affect things like color or texture or appearance. Like a carrot nutritionally is very different to a beetroot, is very different to a piece of lettuce. So variety of veg as much as you can get in, sprinkle in some fruit, and then just carbs up the wahoo as high as you can get while fitting in your calorie bank. And then when it comes to like veg, once you've got what you like in a day, just rinse and repeat. Don't worry about like switching it about, you know. And yeah, once you've got
I still have most of my veg in like 2 meals.
Yeah.
Just because I don't really like it, so I just have it then and then I'm done. Sound. Yeah, I'm still not that. I'm more of a fruit person, to be honest.
Fair.
Like frozen raspberries are the goat. You stick them in cream rice, you stick them in oats, and you're fucking banging.
I'm definitely a fruit guy, but I know that I'm still food focused because I've got like this bag of it's got peas, sweet corn, carrot, and green beans. And I have that with tuna and pasta. And I look forward to that meal because of the fucking veg in it. Like that's how food focused I am. I'm like when I'm cooking my spinach, I get a little bit excited and I'm like, what have I become?
I don't like spinach. I literally just eat it because it's good for me. Because I really liked your little rant on fats there as well, because they do have a shit name, to be fair.
They do.
Yeah, it's definitely not something you want to be avoiding. It's literally going to make you function well hormonally. Like you don't want to be having fucking 10 grams of fat a day. Like so many times when I'm building out meal plans with clients, I'm like, okay, cool. So at the moment we've hit the protein, like basically saying like, oh, what do you normally have for this meal? What would you like to have, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And no wonder they don't feel too good because they're getting like 20 grams of fat at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what do you like out of these sources? We can add this here, this here, this here. And funnily enough, they start to feel better quite soon.
Yeah, like whenever I like ask people, you know, hey, what kind of stuff would you like to see on a meal plan? Or if I've got someone tracking macros, I might be like, hey, what are your go-to meals? And whenever I have someone new on the team, you can always tell that they're not used to like caring about fats. Could be like, what do you have for breakfast? And they might be like, oh, I had chicken and pasta. It'll be like protein, carb. I had a ham sandwich. I had chicken, pasta. I had beef and spaghetti. And I'm like, we got some beef in there, but there's nothing else going on. Like whenever you suggest like, oh, what do you want for this meal? And they'll just be like protein, carb. And they'll be like, okay, but we need some fats in there too. Like if you want to,
completely.
The best test booster in the world is olive oil, or salmon, or fucking dark chocolate, 85% plus. Like get your fats in, then you will have normal hormones. It genuinely is anabolic to have a certain level of fats. It's catabolic to have under that amount of fats. So get those fats in.
Yeah, and then beyond that, as much carbohydrate as you can. But if you prefer a higher fat diet, then fucking go for it. It's what's going to make you adhere. So what are your personal like top 5 favorite fat sources? Not necessarily what the best is or what you have to be or whatever, but what do you like?
I'm a fan of dark chocolate, obviously.
Banging.
I'm a fan of almond butter. I'm a fan of peanut butter as well. A little bit cheeky. You don't like peanut butter?
No, it's so disgusting. I don't understand everybody's fascination with it. They're like, oh, peanut butter is so nice. Like, it tastes shit. Cashew butter is the goat.
I haven't tried it. I need to try it.
It's so good. It's so much better. Like if I was going to eat something out of a jar, it would be that because it tastes banging. But almond butter is too like dry, whereas like cashew butter, you could literally like, lick off the spoon and it'd be well good.
Almond's quite dry. I like sesame seeds. You sprinkle that shit on some chicken, like sesame chicken. Oh my god, like fucking chicken and rice with some sesame seeds is banging.
Have you tried sesame oil?
No.
That's all right as well, to be fair. Although I find that in time, it's sort of like you go off it. Like it's nice. It's nice on the odd occasion.
Fair man. And I also, this is quite boring, but I rate olive oil. Like pour it. So if you're going to have olive oil in your diet, this is excluding anything that you cook with. This goes on at the end of the meal. Anything that you cook with, just keep it as a minimum to keep the pan nice and hot so things can slide around. Because as you're cooking, you're not going to get all of it off the pan onto your food. Some of it will burn up. So it's very like inaccurate in terms of, oh, I'm meant to have 10 grams of olive oil, I'll put that in the pan. No, 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 no. Use a calorie spray or a little bit of olive oil, whatever. That remains the same. And then you've got your chicken and rice, pour it on top afterwards. But mix it in, it tastes fantastic. It's so nice.
What is even better is macadamia nut oil.
Oh, mate, I need to try that. You got all the fucking nut oil.
Bro, they've got it on Amazon, right? It's the Mocado one or something like that, right? So it was 250 milliliters for £10 or £12 for 2 bottles. I'm like, who is doing this marketing? Like, what? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's mad.
Like, obviously, I'm buying 2, and it's literally the nicest shit on the planet. It's so good. Yeah, I'd say that, dark chocolate, cashew butter, and I'm happy. I don't need anything else. They're banging.
I'm not like, I'm not crazy on like, I don't have a lot of variety in my fats. Like pretty much at the minute it is just traced from protein sources and then peanut butter, dark chocolate, olive oil. Like that's pretty staple for me. You know?
Yeah, I would say steak is another good one, but it's also a massive protein source, so I wouldn't really count it.
Yeah,
like it's great fats in it, but it's not almost exclusively dietary fat, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'd love to have like eggs, salmon, steak. Oh, that'd be so good.
I was having eggs and salmon for breakfast for ages, and I'm like, I don't like salmon anymore.
Oh, mate, that's so bad. Oh.
Yeah, I know, it's so sad. I'll have it again soon. Right, I reckon we call it a day there because that's going to be getting up to an hour, and I think we've covered good bits in there. But yeah, good to see you good to talk to you as always, bro.
Yeah, bro, good to have a chat. We didn't even address your birthday and you turning like however old you are, like what, 49, 42?
No, bro, I was 15 this week. Did you not know?
15. Ah, fair.
Yeah.
And yeah, your first
we can go on to that next week as sound.
So that means you've been on cycle for 5 years now.
Fuck off.
Incredible.
But yeah, I hope you guys found that useful. Keep sending in your questions. We will get to them and hopefully try and be somewhat useful. So yeah, thank you very much, everybody. We will talk to you all soon. Have a sick day.
Bye-bye.